Hi, and welcome to a video update on the Employee Retention Credit for 2023. I am Vicki Stalnaker, shareholder of JRBT and Director of Operations for Payroll Systems, a division of JRBT. This presentation is for general guidance. It is not legal, tax, payroll, or professional consulting. Please always consult with your professional advisor in regards to your business and how specifically the Employee Retention Credit applies. So over the past few months, IRS is starting to issue warnings. There have been aggressive ERC advertisements. You have heard them on the radio, on the TV. You've probably received phone calls, emails, and even some of the promoters show up at your business door. And unfortunately, these ERC promoters are aggressively filing credit claims, which many of them are not even valid, because not all businesses qualify for the Employee Retention Credit. They must meet one of the criteria based on the guidelines: a decline in gross receipts, a partial or full governmental closure, a recovery startup business at the end of 2021. Due to these aggressive promoters, IRS has seen a drastic increase in the amount of fraudulent returns that have been filed. In turn, IRS is starting to audit more. They're also assessing penalty and interest and doing criminal investigations on both the employer and also the ERC credit provider. In addition, recently, over the past few days, IRS has halted processing of ERC returns that have been filed. Since July, they had a massive influx of fraudulent returns. Hundreds of thousands of returns were filed in a very short period. Due to this, IRS is starting to review and process those returns a lot slower. Currently, claims have been coming back within about 90 days, just a couple of months. Now it is extending to around 180 days or more. In addition, IRS is trying to develop programs for the honest taxpayers who may have filed these returns in error. They'll have a settlement program for employers who have already received their refund and they need to repay it back to IRS in order to avoid some of those penalty and interest and criminal investigations. And then also for ones that have filed returns that have not been processed yet, they are going to have a special withdrawal option. Now, if you do truly qualify for the Employee Retention Credit and you are wanting to file a return, you can still file them. However, any returns filed after September 14th will be held until after the end of the year. And once they start processing in 2024, they will be subject to heightened review and as well as longer processing timelines. So as the employer, kind of what do you need to do at this time? If you have used one of these aggressive credit promoters and have already filed that return and you do not think it was a valid claim, please stay tuned with IRS for the upcoming release of the guidelines for both the settlement program and the special withdrawal options. In addition, discuss it with your trusted tax advisor to see if they have additional guidelines or can provide some of this information as IRS releases it. And if you plan to file an amended return you have not filed yet, please review the updated IRS tools available at irs.gov on their webpage for the Employee Retention Credit. They have added a new checklist, which is like a flow chart to go through some of the criteria. They have updated facts. They have updated questions and answers. They also have a list of warning signs to talk about these aggressive promoters who are very quick to say that you qualify for the credit, and they don't ask for supporting documentation. They don't talk through it with you. So they have several warning signs to look at. And one of the things that IRS recommends, highly recommend, is to work with a trusted tax advisor. If you decide to go with a promoter, that's fine, but you need to talk it over with somebody else who understands the Employee Retention Credit, as well as some of the items that you need in place in order to have a valid claim. So some of the guidance you can review to see how the ERC applies to your entity, whether you've already filed for the ERC credit or if you're planning on filing in the future. One of the items is the IRS news page. You can go to their newsroom. You can see the information issued in July, which is where they were starting to talk about this growing fraud risk with the ERC. Between July 26th and September 14th is when that massive influx of returns came into IRS, and they started seeing a lot of fraudulent returns. So they issued these other two news guidance to protect taxpayers from the scam, to pause the processing, and to also issue these red flags talking about these aggressive promoters that are unfortunately misleading businesses to claim ERC when they really do not qualify. I also listed the IRS Employee Retention Credit website, where you can find those checklists, those facts, the questions and answers to go over the employee retention credit to see if your business does fit that qualification. And if you do not have a trusted tax advisor to talk about the ERC with, please do not hesitate to reach out to us at Payroll Systems and also at JRBT. Thank you.